I never thought a simple renovation could unearth the kind of nightmare I encountered. I'd just bought an old house, its bones sturdy but its heart filled with decades of silence. One chilly evening, driven by a mix of curiosity and the ambitious plans to transform the basement into a workshop, I pried open a mismatched section of the floor. The air grew colder as I revealed a hidden staircase descending into darkness, an unwelcome surprise in my new home. As I ventured down, the air turned damp and whispers seemed to echo off the stone walls, murmurs without a source that made the hairs on my neck stand on end. The sub-basement was a forgotten chamber, filled with relics of a past life, a rusted bicycle wheel, a doll with one eye, and chains that ominously adorned one wall. The atmosphere was oppressive, as if the room wanted to keep its secrets. In the corner lay a pile that I had mistaken for old rags, but as my flashlight swept over it, the pile stirred. What I had assumed was harmless debris was something alive, something that shouldn't be. It was a creature, ghastly and pale, a grotesque parody of a human. Its skin was a tapestry of scars and its eyes, luminescent and unblinking, fixed on me with unsettling intensity. It unfolded itself with a series of cracks like the breaking of old wood, rising to a daunting height. Its voice was a whisper, but it filled the room, so long, waiting for so long. "You're here now, with me." The words slithered through the air. I felt a primal urge to flee, but my feet were rooted in place by both fear and fascination. It moved closer, each step deliberate and unnerving. The air grew thick, charged with a malevolent energy that seemed to press against my very soul. My heart thudded in my chest as it reached out with a gnarled hand, its fingertips brushing against the air mere inches from my face. I managed to regain control of my senses, backing away until my back hit the cold stone wall. There was no more room to retreat. The creature's face split into a grotesque smile, revealing rows of jagged, blackened teeth. Just as it seemed about to reach me, the old phonograph in the room crackled to life, filling the space with a slow, haunting melody. The distraction was enough for me to slip past the creature, my breath ragged with panic. I scrambled up the stairs, the creature's enraged howls echoing behind me. It wasn't just chasing me, it was angry, furious at being denied. I slammed the basement door shut, shoving a heavy cabinet against it. My entire body shook as I listened to the thumps and scratches from beneath the door gradually subside. The police found nothing when they arrived, only the dusty remnants of my intrusion into the sub-basement. They suggested hallucinations, perhaps a reaction to mold or some other unseen hazard. But the terror I felt was all too real. The next day, with resolve forged in fear, I hired a crew to seal the basement. Concrete filled the staircase, erasing the physical connection to the sub-basement but not the psychological scars it left behind. As I watched the concrete harden, I could almost hear the faint echoes of that haunting melody, a chilling reminder of the depths below. Now, as I sit in the safety of my living room, the memory of those glowing eyes lingers. I avoid the basement door, even though it's now just a barrier to a sealed tomb. The house is quieter, or perhaps it's just holding its breath, waiting. I know I'll never feel completely alone here again, always wondering if that seal will hold, if the creature will abide by such earthly constraints. I don't think I'll ever go down to any basement again, nor will I forget the horrors hidden beneath the old floorboards of a house that should never have been mine. I never believed houses could hold memories until we moved into the old place on Maple Street. It was supposed to be our fresh start, just me and my daughter, Lily, after we lost her mom. But from the first night, Lily kept telling me she heard someone crying in the basement. I told her it was just the house settling, but I guess a part of me should have listened closer. One Saturday, after yet another sleepless night for Lily, I decided it was time to show her there was nothing to fear. We stood before the basement door, a hefty thing with old paint flaking off. I turned the key, feeling the weight of the unknown as the door creaked open. We stepped into the musty air, the light from above barely reaching the corners of the dusty basement. The place was cluttered with relics left by the previous owners. Old furniture covered in sheets, boxes stacked haphazardly. But what caught Lily's attention was a small, locked room in the far corner. My curiosity piqued, and despite the unsettling feeling creeping up my spine, I broke the rusty lock with some effort. Inside, it was like stepping into a child's nightmare. The walls were covered in drawings, dark, twisted scribbles that made my heart race. Amid the chaos, a pile of old toys lay in the corner, dust-covered and forgotten. Lily clung to my arm, whispering, "Daddy, let's go." Before we could leave, the door slammed shut behind us. The sound of it echoed, chillingly final. From the shadows, we heard it, the dragging, heavy footsteps of someone or something approaching. I pushed Lily behind me, my heart pounding in my chest. Then he appeared, a tall, thin man, his eyes wild, his hair a tangled mess. He muttered to himself, words I couldn't make out, his voice a raspy whisper. "This is my home," he screamed suddenly. I've never felt fear like that before. He lunged at us, but I managed to shove him back. Grabbing Lily's hand, we ran for the stairs, not daring to look back. I slammed the basement door shut, locking it tight, and listened as his fists pounded against the wood, his cries muffled by the barrier between us. I called the police, trying to keep my voice steady as I explained there was a man in our basement. Within minutes, sirens cut through the night, and officers flooded our home. They searched the basement but found it empty, except for a small tunnel hidden behind the room, a tunnel that led to a network of old sewage pipes. The man had been living there, unnoticed, for who knows how long. But the ordeal wasn't over. That night, as Lily and I tried to rest, the creak of the basement door echoed through the house. He had never left. He was inside our home, moving silently through the darkness. My heart raced as we hid in Lily's room, whispering to her that everything would be okay, all the while doubting my own words. The house was silent then, a silence that was suffocating. Suddenly, the door to the room swung open. There he stood, framed by the doorway, the streetlights casting long shadows behind him. I didn't think, I just reacted, rushing at him with all the fear and anger I felt, pushing him back, struggling for control. It was a blur, but eventually, I managed to subdue him with a fireplace poker, holding him down until the police arrived, again summoned by the silent alarm I'd triggered. As they took him away, one officer explained he was the son of the previous owner, lost in his grief and madness, unable to accept that his childhood home was no longer his. In the aftermath, we had the basement sealed off. No one would enter that space again. I installed a new security system, ensuring that every door and window was protected. Lily and I spent the next few days cleansing the house, removing the old and bringing in the new. As I sit here now, watching Lily sleep peacefully, I can't help but reflect on the terror we faced. It wasn't just about an intruder or a disturbed man, it was the realization that our sanctuary, our home, could so easily become a place of nightmares. But we've reclaimed it, filled it with light and laughter, and somehow, I feel that's what we were meant to do all along. Our house isn't just a building, it's our home, and I'll do everything in my power to keep it safe, to keep our memories good. And maybe, just maybe, we can finally start fresh, truly fresh, as we were meant to from the start. I've never liked storms, but tonight, the thunder seems angrier, more personal. My eyes keep darting to the basement door, that dark rectangle on the floor that I've avoided my whole life. As a kid, I was sternly told to stay out of there, and I wasn't the type to disobey. But now, with the house eerily silent except for the crack of thunder, my curiosity's getting the better of me. Pulling open the door, the musty smell hits me first, like damp earth and old secrets. The stairs creak under my weight, each step a groan of old that seems to warn me to turn back. But I can't, I need to know why this place was always off limits. The basement is cluttered. Shadows thrown by my flashlight turn forgotten furniture into lurking monsters. Boxes stacked haphazardly are filled with faded photographs and letters, relics of a past long gone. I shuffle through them, the beam of my flashlight flickering across faces frozen in time. That's when I hear it, a soft thumping, rhythmic and insistent. It's coming from behind the walls. Curiosity edges out fear, and I push aside boxes and sweep cobwebs from my path until I find it. Hidden behind an old, dusty tapestry is a door, small and almost part of the wall itself. It opens with a groan, revealing a cold, dark room that shouldn't exist. Inside, there's nothing but a metal chair under a single flickering bulb. It's unsettlingly bare, except for an old projector that looks like it hasn't been used in decades. Yet, as if triggered by my presence, it sputters to life, casting eerie light onto the wall. The film shows a man who looks eerily like me, older, maybe, but unmistakably similar. He's talking directly into the camera, panic evident in his eyes. "If you're watching this," he says, "it means I'm gone, and you're in danger. There's something in this house, something that feeds on fear. Leave, before it finds you." As his words sink in, the temperature drops sharply. My breath clouds in front of me, and the walls seem to close in. The whispers start then, faint at first, then growing clearer, more desperate. They're echoing around the room, pleading, warning. I want to run, but my legs won't move, frozen by the chilling realization of what this room represents. Then, chaos. The bulb above the chair bursts, plunging me into darkness. The whispers turn to screams, and the thumping becomes a violent banging. I'm not alone. I can feel it, the presence of something unseen, its breath cold against my neck. Panic overtakes me, and finally, my legs respond. I stumble back to the door, my heart pounding in my ears louder than the thunder outside. I slam it shut, leaning against it as if I can hold back the darkness with my body. The house feels different now, every shadow a hiding place, every noise a signal. Back upstairs, I barricade the basement door with a table, chairs, anything I can move. It's irrational, maybe, but fear is irrational. I'm breathing hard, trying to compose myself, to think. I need to leave, get out of this house. But as I pack a bag, the lights flicker and go out, leaving me in the glow of lightning that briefly illuminates the room. There, in the corner, is the metal chair from the basement. It's impossible, but it's there. The projector starts again, the man's face appearing on the wall of my living room. "It's too late," he whispers as the film crackles and the image distorts. "It knows you're afraid." I drop the bag, my decision made in an instant. I have to leave now, get as far away as possible. I rush to the door, fling it open, and step into the storm. The rain hits me like a flood, but it's better than the alternative. I don't look back as I make my way to the car, the house disappearing behind sheets of rain, its secrets swallowed by the night. As I drive away, the weight of what I've left behind settles in. But there's relief too, the kind that comes from escaping a nightmare. I know I'll never return, that some doors are better left closed. But as I merge onto the highway, the radio crackles to life on its own, static filling the car until a whisper breaks through. You can't escape what's already inside. The road stretches out before me, dark and endless, and I realize that some fears, once awakened, are never quite silenced.